the army.
So, Gallegation, I have some news for you.
I would love to hear some news.
So, the score is now going to be 2-2,
2-2, all
going
tied
into
up.
game number 5.
Yes.
And we've got quite the gentleman coming out now for Complexity to see what he can do.
All right.
It is going to be Henderlisk.
Henderlisk, who plays for Complexity professionally, but for fun plays for YMCMB.
Yep. So you may see a Complexity clan tag going into this match, but it is not actually Complexity.
Nope. That is not. He is currently representing YMCMB. He plays regularly for Complexity's team, not the academy, but the regular team. You've probably seen him on main stages in various events. It is going to be Henderlisk.
Yep, and in the lower right-hand corner from NRG, the Protoss playing a very strong game last game, it is Darkness. So I was really impressed to see Henderlisk in the lineup here. He's got to be the most notable professional player to be seen in SC2CTL so far.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Definitely some high-ranking players though. YMCMB definitely has a roster that is quite impressive. That they say that they play for fun, and they do play for fun, but they also play as professionals on other teams when they're not doing whatever silly bits they're doing with YMCMB. Not to say that their team is silly by any means, but it's definitely more of a it's geared as a casual team more than it is as a professional team.
Absolutely. So Henderlisk going to be making a lot of drones here. He's at 14, has not put down any pools. We'll see. This is a fairly large map, so we're likely to see a hatchery coming out here, but there's a a spawning pool. Look at that. He went way out to the edge of the creep there to maybe be a bit sneaky with it. Not that there'll be a scout coming in anytime soon, as Darkness is just happily mining away in his base.
I don't know if you do anything happily when you're going against Henderlisk.
Yeah, Darkness is probably... I mean, Darkness, let's not belittle Darkness too much. He is a, I believe, top 50 Grandmaster, so... but, not anyone has the notoriety so far in the league as Henderlisk. I mean, I remember watching him on the main stage of MLG at the last MLG event. So, well, nonetheless, we'll see what happens here as a hatchery is coming down for Henderlisk, and looks like Darkness is going to be doing an in-base gateway and cybercore, and then likely going for a hatchery. Protoss is going to make a hatchery, Gallegation.
Well, that is going to be quite the tech switch.
So the pool is done. I thought maybe he would want to make some lings and be aggressive with this, but it looks like he just wanted to get a queen out early. So nothing too fancy out of both players at this point. Curious to see what will be coming down from Darkness. I'm guessing some kind of gateway push here, because he still is on only one gas. If you're going to be going for Stargate or anything by that point, you would definitely be having a second gas mining by the time the cybercore goes down, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that he's trying to play a little bit more defensively, a little bit more reactionary than previously. And we'll see how that ends up working out for him.
Overlord
Henderlisk is going to be getting some gas now, so that speed will be coming down.
Overlord of Henderlisk did come in to see the expansion of Darkness, so not only does he know where his opponent is, he knows what he's up to, and Darkness doesn't know anything about Henderlisk. He's got a probe that was moving around. He's going to spot an Overlord now moving away, so I think he can... Well, I don't know. Yeah, he could assume that his opponent is up here. So a little bit of late information there, but nonetheless, both players being fairly non-aggressive, so NBD.
And they're both just choosing to do, heavy scouting, get an idea of what their opponent is doing, and reacting to that by continuing to do their economies.
Yeah, Zergling giving chase to this probe. As we have seen, the Zergling speed is slightly faster, so this probe is likely, has a 50-50 chance of making it home, I think. Sentry coming out to the front to plug the hole as the Zergling is coming in. Is he going to get in the hole? He is. So there he will be safe against the scout-aroundery, but the probe's still active out on the map.
And Henderlisk actually getting kind of a bank of gas at the moment. He's approaching 200 and goes for the lair. I'm expecting to see the speed coming down soon, maybe, or maybe he's just going to delay it, getting a second gas now.
I mean, last time we saw this early of a layer, we saw Mutalisk. I mean, as a Protoss player, I definitely fear the Mutalisk, especially in this type of build. I mean, Stargate is going down, but if Darkness makes Void Rays and Henderless does make Mutalisk, I mean, that's not very useful. But he is going to make a Phoenix, so we'll have to see what Henderless ends up going for now.
So that layer is about 3/4 of the way done, and still no speed, so I would expect to see it very late now if he's not getting it anytime soon. And surely Hinderlisk knows exactly what he's doing here.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a Spire coming down once this layer finishes immediately. I would put money on it. The Overlord does pop in here. He does see a Phoenix that actually does damage. That means it's real and not a hallucination of drug-filled dreams.
Infestation Pit is actually going down first.
All right, Swarm Host then. That's my new prediction. I
That's
lost money in the first prediction, so.
Well, I think that that prediction is strengthened by the missile attack level 1 going down.
And also Guitar Cheese saying in Obs chat, Swarm Host Nidus, so I'm expecting that's what we'll probably end up seeing, which is really cool. I mean, like you said previously, we don't see Swarm Host that much, but they are a really cool unit. They're a little clunky, a little hard to work with, and but you know, when we have seen a good setup with them, they've been pretty scary. But look at these Phoenix on the map. They're going to be moving around. And a Robo going down as well for Darkness.
Those Phoenix could still prove to be problematic, though, if they're able to get in there and lift up those Swarm Hosts. So Henderlisk is really going to have to make his infrastructure strong around where he chooses to burrow those.
Certainly Swarm Host now, as Enduring Locust is coming down as well as the Nidus Network. So these Phoenix are going to spot it out, though. We come in and they see the Infestation Pit. So, I mean, I guess you wouldn't necessarily assume Swarm Host, but one could. Now, Observer coming down.
Yeah, I think that's likely to be the assumption at this point, as he doesn't see any mutas. And look at that Queen number, too. I mean, and there he does see the Swarm Hosts that are just rallying to that unfinished Nidus Network. So he has an idea that something's happening there. And sure enough, we do see the Robotics Bay going down. So he is going for those Colossus.
Yep, and here comes the Nidus. So we'll have to see what Henderless can get done with this. Honestly, Darkness doesn't have a whole lot to do with this. He's putting down one cannon, but that's not going to hold off these Swarm Hosts.
But the Observer is right in the right place. This whole army is in the right place. And sure enough, the Phoenix are lifting up the Swarm Host right away. And this is going to be able to do some damage, but everything comes out so quickly. The Mothership Core goes down. The Phoenix are forced to retreat, sacrificing a Zealot to get everything else out.
Those Queens alone doing so much damage that I'm sure he did not want to lose that Mothership Core. But, I mean, Darkness not having a whole lot right now. He needs about 3 to 4 Colossus, and he just has his first one being produced. More Nidus Canals coming down, and he still has a Swarm Host left in there. He's now going to be pushing into the natural of Darkness, and Darkness is in such a bad position.
Yeah, this is definitely a rough spot to be at the moment, as, I mean, there are a lot of Swarm Hosts there, and he continues to, you know, the second Nidus is definitely getting some creep going a little bit further, a little bit faster, and also having multiple means of escape should they get into a bad situation. Spore Crawlers going down now as well to defend against any observers that could be coming out.
Yeah, Extended Thermal Lance not even close to being done for Darkness, and these Locusts are just going to put a slow hurt on the front of the wall here. And Darkness is smartly, you know, holding back, trying to get a decent army amassed here, but gosh, I don't know what. He had 4 more Swarm Hosts in production, 2 more Queens, so he's just really reinforcing the heck out of this.
And so much infrastructure going down. That whole front does drop to the free units that are the Locusts. And those are some really great force fields, keeping the majority of the Locusts out, but you only can do those for so long before your sentries run out of energy.
And he's getting low. He has 1 full energy sentry, so maybe 1 more round of force fields here, and he's going to be starting to get down. But he does have 2 Colossus out now. If he can get 1 more, he can start to maybe hold this off. But my gosh, the sentry's running so low on energy right now.
Yeah, he's really got to be careful, too, because that robotics facility is by no means at full health.
Yeah, it would not take much for those Locusts to get in there, and if I was Henderless, I'd be going in to snipe that, target firing that, to be honest, with these free Locusts anyway, because that's really Darkness's only chance. And it looks like he does indeed decide to do just that.
But look at the number of Swarm Hosts here. There are 16 Swarm Hosts burrowed and sending their Locusts. and two more are coming to reinforce. This is just continuing to be. This is just push to the death. He is taking a third base, but one might argue that he doesn't need to at this point.
Yeah, I think that Protoss in general aren't necessarily always prepared for the Swarmhouse play because it seems a bit less common. So when it does come out, it is very powerful, and there's the GG. So Henderless coming out and making a very strong swing there with a big Swarmhouse play. To be honest, Darkness, Henderless, with that build, he went straight for Swarmhouse. He didn't go for anything else first, so I mean, he was wide open for so long. And Darkness going for that gateway expand, I mean, he really needed to put some kind of pressure on to be able to stop that.
Well, it's hard, when you only have limited information too. He did get some scouts in there, and seeing the infrastructure that was going down, I think, and it would appear that the evidence was supporting that he was going to go Mutalisks. So putting down those Phoenix was a great transition.
I put down money on it, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix were a great transition, and given that information, but Henderlisk anticipating that switch, or maybe seeing that switch while the layer was morphing, because he did lose a Overlord to that, decides if you're going Phoenix, I'm just going to go Swarm Host, and that'll be that.
Yeah, so we're going to be moving on into